Folks, I want to try and talk about something off the cuff, and we'll see if I can get there. So notice how Orangina Pervilicious Felonious Schlimper McPhee is going after education first. Do you think that's because he cares about children? Let's be real, okay? It's because he can expand his voter base. Let's all be honest. Republican voters have less education. There's a direct correlation. I'm not making that shit up. It's true. So by going after the education of children all across the country, he's going to be more likely to be breeding Republican voters than Democrat voters, just by virtue of the fact that those children will not be challenging their brains as much as they would have been challenging their brains if they had a Department of Education, if they had federal funding. When you have a child with an IEP, you have to fight for all of the accommodations that you get. You have to be savvy, and you have to be on top of it, and you have to make sure what they have said they're going to do for your child are the things that they do. Because schools don't want to spend money. And I'm sorry, but the people in charge of making sure the school doesn't spend money are not the teachers. Those are special people who are in these roles, and they are like lawyers. And unless you are a savvy parent, it's really hard to get accommodations for your child. Occupational therapy, speech therapy, all kinds of things that these kids need. If that goes away, those children lose those services. You're pushing children who have learning differences out of the public sphere. You know what? The kids in the red states are going to be hurt the most by this. They're going to be hurt right away. Do you think those parents can homeschool those children? Do you think they have the resources and the room in their lives? Do you think that would be good for those children? Do you think it's a good thing for all children to only see children who are just like them? How do you think that ends up? Do you think that this is going to be a long-term good strategy for children to have absolutely no tolerance even when they're young and squishy and in theory able to be so tolerant because they've not been frickin' ruined by society yet or from a bigoted family? Teaching people that they don't have to adjust their eyes or their thinking or who they're being in the world ever for even a half a second for somebody else who maybe needs a little bit more time and a little bit more grace. Do you think that's teaching people to be good people? It's teaching people to be lazy people. It's teaching people to be narcissistic people. It's teaching people to have God complexes. These children with disabilities or with differences or with extra needs, with depression, anxiety, it doesn't matter what, are trying to make their way in a world that is getting increasingly more and more hostile towards them. Some kids need help being able to make their way in this world. And if we don't help them, who will? States are not going to just pull money out from the bottom of their hearts and give it to the kids who need this attention, who need these accommodations. Of course not. They're going to use it to fund their football team. They're going after our children first. And the people in the red states, you're the ones who are going to have to stand up to this for your children. Otherwise, they're going to get pushed off the face of the earth before long. They're going to be no better off than the trans children who have been tormented from the beginning of this entire hate campaign. And you all ate it up. You thought, that's a great excuse to hate those people. Boy, that feels good. Now I don't have to think about my own life. Well, now it's your children who are on the chopping block, and they're coming after your children because they want to use them down the road. So, fuck's sake, folks, wake up. Yeah.